Hey guys, it is Rapmark here. So, doing my delayed reaction or review of episode 2 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So, I felt was a slow start in episode 1. Unfortunately, I think continues here. There are plot threads that were set up there that get dropped to, again, for no good reason, ending up the worst form. It makes Din Djarin look stupid, and the problem is this episode seems like it makes him seem less badass to sort of build up Bo-Katan, who we know is, an amazing presence, amazing character, and it unfortunately feels very contrived. One thing I will say is, once again, whoever designs the aliens, the creatures in this, they do a great job. Like, everything looks so real. The designs are amazing. I think that's one of the strongest things of this season so far, is just how insanely real a lot of these creatures actually look. It is super amazing. In terms of story, I mean, we're still continuing down the whole going to bathe in the waters of Mandalore. Dialogue was kind of crazy. It feels like everything's being spelled out for you, but not in a good way. Like, the dialogue is literally like they're reading it's almost like the characters are reading themselves a story. I'll get into it a little bit deeper. We actually see, Mandalore in this episode, so that's kind of cool. I think the location, um, anytime a new location is brought up in Star Wars, I always think that is a good thing. And this is the first time we're seeing it in live action. We saw, obviously, the glassing of the planet in, I think was it Rebels? I forget, but it was one of those animated shows, which was very beautiful. Uh, very good looking and very tragic. It was, an insane scene to behold. Uh, so yeah, watching it come into live action, I think is amazing. But once again, it's just like, where are we going from here? Um, and once again, I know I mentioned, excuse me. Ow. I know I mentioned that John Favreau saying something about how he didn't have a plan for it, and it's just like, this episode kind of makes me worried on that front. It's just like, you you don't want to find yourself in a position to where you are just winging it on a story that's already this well established. Because everyone loves Din Djarin, everyone loves Grogu. Um, we are set on a solid path, and the problem is if you just start winging it with no plan, that's what happened to the Star Wars sequels, and look at how nightmarish that turned out to be. There are people who still love those movies, but it is definitely very controversial, and I am not one of those people. I wish those movies would be forgotten and thrown away and never mentioned again, but that's just not gonna happen. So with this one, what would I give it? I think this one's going to be another 6 for me. So yeah, I think I gave the first episode a 6. I'm giving this one a 6 as well. Um, because yeah, while I still had fun with it and I still enjoyed like the new locations, the creatures, again, the story just seems to be kind of going into a tailspin, and who knows where it's going to go. And it's kind of leading me worried. Like, figure out a plan, John. Like, we don't need content for the sake of content, because we know what you're doing with this. I mean, this whole show is entirely designed around making the aspect of the Emperor cloning himself in the sequels look better than it did, which I mean still hate, because I hate the sequels with a passion. Um, but yeah, so yeah, a 6 out of 10 for this one. A fun watch, but again, I have worries about this. All right, so let's break it down. So we start off going to Tatooine, and we're dealing with Pilemoto. Uh, so he's hoping that she has a memory core to revive IG-11. She does not. Like, she goes and calls some Jawa customers, and they're just like, nope, no part. And that's that. And so from all that, he then offers to sell him her astromech that is like falling apart, scared to pieces. And he accepts. It's just like, Mando, what are you doing? Like, again, he could have had any robot he wanted from Carl Weathers' character. But no, he was bound and determined for IG-11, and now he's not only not getting the robot he wants or the part he wants, but he is now, instead of being given a robot, he is now buying a shitty robot, and it's just, why are you doing this to him? Don't make him this dumb. It just seems very contrived, because they're making him stupid, and he's not stupid, because we've seen him in the first 2 seasons. Yeah, it's annoying, but yeah. So anyway, he takes the astromech. Mandalorian Grogu go to Mandalore, and of course you have to have the setup that Grogu is going to have to drive back to the planet in the Mandalore system that Bo-Katan's at. And he's talking about the maps, and where we are and stuff like that. And it's, again, it's like the characters are reading themselves a story just to establish something rather than just showing it. And it just feels very disingenuous to the audience when, I mean, they were starting to do it in season 2, but in season 1, like, they were really generous with the audience. Like, again, it was fun. It wasn't like Andor serious, dark and broody, but it still felt like it was treating its audience like they had a brain. And this season is so far not heading in that direction, in my opinion. So anyway, they land, and the planet does, it's been glassed. There's a lot of interference in the atmosphere from the cannons and explosions and the glassing, obviously. But he sends the astromech out to examine the air, and I don't understand why he didn't just run the tests outside the ship. Why he needed to go to the city or whatever. It didn't make sense. But I mean, of course, for the purposes of the episode, it's because he needs to go down into the city to to bathe in the water. Like again, it's it's something that's not well executed, in my opinion. Um, so anyway, Astromech disappears, and Mandalore goes to find him, and he is attacked by what is called Alamites. So these are creatures that used to live on the outskirts of like Mandalorian cities, um, but now they've moved into the ruins because there's not a lot of Mandalores to actually stop them. So once again, he pulls out the dark saber, but he still can't use it very well, unfortunately. And it looks even more awkward. But he managed to dispatch all of them. And then he runs some tests, discovers that the planet's air is breathable. I don't know why he had to do that in, again, the city. Why he couldn't just have done that outside the ship? Yeah. Um, so they go back out with Grogu, and he's going to take him into the city of Sundari to look for the mines. And he talks with Grogu, but he's never been to Mandalore. He was brought up on a moon outside of Mandalore. But he finds an old Mandalorian helmet, um, and then he gets trapped. And this creature, so it's like a cyborg, like crab-like creature or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's a cyborg clearly, really small, and it traps him. And then it takes it back to its lair and starts like it sticks a tube into him and starts juicing him, taking his fluids. Just what is this for? We don't know. Grogu follows. He tries to free Din and fails, so he has to run out of there. And it gets this whole thing like, is he being chased? He's cruising up there with his new little cart, which is still super cute, by the way. Goes up. You think he's got it, and then one of these Alamites comes out, and you think, oh no, but no. Then you have the creature gets blown out of the doorway, and he goes through and gets on the ship and flies to meet with Bo-Katan. Which was a fun scene. I did actually enjoy that one. And then Bo-Katan sees him, is unaware that Din is captured, and she goes out and says, let's get rid of him for the last time. I don't know what that dialogue was all about, because I don't think she's about to kill him, or whatever. I'm not sure what they were going for with that line. It came off a little harsh and also like kind of out of character for this situation and circumstance. I don't know it, but yeah. Anyway, she sees it's just Grogu, and so she goes with Grogu back to Mandalore. Discovers for herself the planet's not poisoned, and goes to find Din. She does find him. She is able to free him. She fights the creature, kills it. I mean, and it's crazy because this thing, like, it has a body. It's literally looks like a knockoff of General Grievous. But she destroys its body, knocks its head off, and its head so its head, it goes into a larger sort of machine. And yeah, she finally fights it down and kills it. And that's that. Which is super cool. But yeah, I think yeah, she has the dark saber and she wields it fantastically. And it's just like, where are we going with this? Like, clearly she is the one to be wielding it. Din does not get it, and I don't know, just I don't understand where they're quite going with it. I mean, there are cool scenes to be had here, and there is potential. I just don't think the execution is working as well as they think it is. But that's just me. So anyway, so he takes care of. So Bo-Katan takes care of Din. Gives him some food. What the heck is it called? I forget, but it's essentially something that Mandalorian children are raised up on, um, and yeah, he's never heard of it. So just sort of back and forth like that, and that's fun dialogue. Like that, it felt natural at that time. But then he's just like, instead of going back with her, he insists he needs to bathe in the living waters. So it's just like, all right, yeah, we're still doing this. So anyway, he goes into the pools while reciting the Creed's words, and then while he's on the step, he just disappears. And like there's a creature. So they talk of a mythosaur, which is a legendary creature that existed on Mandalore. They don't think they exist anymore. Um, but yeah, they've battled them and stuff like that. But I'm wondering what happened to him because he disappeared really fast, and he's like at the bottom, and Bo-Katan is like jetpacking to him. And I'm just thinking to myself, was he dragged under, or is he just freaking stuffed with lead in his suit because he's dropping like a freaking rock? So I don't understand that. And I don't think he was dragged down, but I don't also understand like why he was already down so fast. What I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, so back Bo-Katan dives in, saves him, finds him. She does rescue him and brings above. As she's going up, she sees a living mythosaur, and yeah, that's where she go. So the story she was told, on the plaque that she told was she was a kid, they're all true. So where we go from here, I don't know. This seems like episode 1 and 2 just seemed like a continuation, like a long episode that just sort of establishes this thing, and now we're going to see where the season goes. At least that's what I'm hoping, because right now where this series is, it feels like a bunch of poorly executed exposition. It's just like, oh, here are the characters, here are the places we're dealing with, and then Favreau saying no plan, which makes me super worried because, again, where are we going with this? Where's Bo-Katan going? Where's Din going? Where's Grogu going? Where's anyone going? I don't know. Nobody knows. Apparently even Jon Favreau doesn't even know. So, I mean, I'm really hoping that's not the case, because I would like this show to have some direction and not just be a chaotic mess that is going to leave me disappointed at the end of it. Whew. So, Anyway, um, that was my thought of episode 2 of season 3 of The Mandalorian. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys for the next one. Anyway, see ya.